everything that you put on your skin absorbs through and becomes part of your body. If you're applying poor quality oils to your skin or ingesting poor quality oils, it's very likely they're going to rob your body or even not allow your body to have the appropriate amount of nutrients and vitamins. How are oils impacting our lives, and how can we make better choices for what we put on topically and for what we ingest?
You're Dr. Ron Dummar. I'm a guy. I'm Nick. I'm a curious patient. I'm just trying to figure out what's good for my mind, what's good for my body, what's good for my health. This is the Be Well Now podcast, and we're talking about the best oils, not only for skincare, but also for ingestion. Dr. Ron Dummar, you run community health and wellness here in Heber City, Utah.
Yes, I've been here for about 17 years now, actually. That's quite a time. We've really enjoyed it, serviced a lot of patients, and we're blessed to be able to help here. I have a background ultimately in chiropractic. I'm a chiropractic physician, Chinese medicine doctor, and I specialize in internal medicine.
Ozonated olive oil is what has really made a huge impact on my life. Every time I run out, I come back to the front desk. I'm like, because you're living your life and you're working your budget and what do I need? What do I not need? And I'm like, oh, whatever. It's just this little bottle of ozonated olive oil. I don't need this. I use it as like an aftershave. Like when my skin's real sensitive, I use it as a hand lotion. If my daughter's skin gets rashes or if she gets anything like sunburned skin, ozonated olive oil is amazing. And let's talk about that. But I feel like tallow is making such a huge comeback. And I texted you, I'm like, we should do a podcast about this. And I don't know where we start on all this, but I guess what would you recommend to folks out there in terms of topical skincare products? We have tallow, we have ozonated olive oil. What would you recommend, and what are these things?
Well, a favorite of mine really is the ozonated olive oil, as you know. And so I definitely recommend using ozonated olive oil. We include, when we make our ozonated olive oil here, we like to include a little bit of lavender, a little bit of frankincense, and some lime. And that's because there's been a lot of research that shows that combination of oils is super beneficial and contributory to the factors that go to making up and producing quality, healthy skin. So I really like that blend. We utilize that a lot in the office. However, there are other oils that can be utilized, absolutely. And they come with, you could say, pros and cons or certain benefits. Tallow is one of those. Tallow actually, I think, has really started to make a push in the marketplace, largely in part because Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has been talking a lot about seed oils and about how a lot of these oils, cottonseed oil and palm kernel seed oil, have been utilized. They've been utilized for a long time in restaurants, in deep frying, when you have fries and different things like that, even breaded foods, fried breaded foods. They use this really poor quality, cheap oil, and it causes a lot of cardiovascular related damage and leads to, as Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is trying to confront, it leads to the production and the development of chronic disease. So he wants to fight against that. So ultimately, we need to look at, okay, how are oils impacting our lives and how can we make better choices for what we put on topically and for what we ingest.
So tallow. What's the benefit of tallow for skincare? I know we can talk about ingesting, but let's just talk about skincare.
So the cool thing about tallow really is that tallow comes obviously from animals, right? So it's rendered fat. You take the fat of an animal and you render it down, you cook it, heat it down, and you have tallow. And the neat thing with the compounds about the way that the tallow is made up is it's really similar to the way that our own oils, our own sebum itself is designed and the makeup of that. So if we apply it topically, if we apply it on our face, on our arms, our skin in general, it's actually going to be very contributory to overall health of our skin.
And what about ozonated olive oil? Like
the reason
people may not know what this stuff is, but like on a cut or on a rash or on eczema, on sunburned skin, like I have not really messed around with tallow. But what I find is when I tell people about ozonated olive oil, nobody has ever tried it before.
Yeah. And
it's the number one topic on our podcast that people click on YouTube. I look at the analytics. Every day someone's watching our ozonated olive oil videos, and we published them like over a year ago. So there's a real interest in certain circles about this stuff. I know that it works. you create it here, and I know you're not the only one. Obviously, like,
Sure,
you heard about it somewhere, and then but you make your own batches here. What is the magic of ozonated olive oil?
So the great thing about ozone itself, you're creating an ozonide. You're creating basically an ozone molecule that's bound to the carbon in the olive oil. You can make ozonated water, so you can run ozone through water and hyperoxygenate the water, increase the oxygen molecules in the water. It'll only last for about 20 minutes as far as how much ozone concentration you have that is stable in that water, because it's a very unstable bond. The 3 oxygen molecules, it will dissipate, and as it dissipates, then basically you're just left with water and oxygen again. And so you have to capture it in that moment of time where it is actually 3 oxygen molecules, because acting in those 3 oxygen molecules, it is it does a very good job ultimately as an antibacterial or antimicrobial. It fights against viruses. It's even a deodorant. It deodorizes things, and so it neutralizes chronic smells. It fights against molds and toxins. So it's very, very powerful if you can keep it there in that ozone molecule. So the way that we keep it there is we run it through olive oil, or we run it through an oil base, essentially. And when it binds to the carbon molecule of that oil, it then helps it to remain intact and stable for a much longer period of time. In fact, if you have ozonated olive oil and you keep it in a cool, dark place, ultimately it's going to last probably somewhere between 15 and 20 years, if not longer, if you store it well.
Yeah, I mean, I travel with it. I love it. So it's just a great product to have. Haven't messed around with tallow. What other...
So with olive oil, we're looking at like polyphenols, antioxidants. You hear a lot of those really beneficial things. It's really good for the cardiovascular system. It's great for your lipid profile. So if your cholesterol's off, or if you've been told, hey, you need to be on a cholesterol lowering medication, you should really be considering a quality oil that can mitigate the effects of those negative, like the LDL, the bad cholesterol, a lot of people call it.
And you're talking about oral ingestion of olive oil, right?
Yes,
Just as a
but you can apply it topically, and it has an impact. It'll have some of the impact as well. But obviously, if you want to impact the LDL, you have to ingest it, right?
And then tallow, obviously, you can cook with.
So tallow you can cook with too, and you can ingest it. And the cool thing with tallow, again, is that it has vitamins. It contains vitamins K, A, D, and E. Obviously, vitamin E is really good for the skin. Vitamin D is great for immunity. Vitamin A is also very good. It helps with skin turning over if you have any sort of rash or anything like that. It will help basically slough off the external portion of your skin, your epidermis, so that you can have new skin produced. And then vitamin K is significant for any bacterial balance or flora in the body. We often talk about vitamin K as being produced in the gut, and it is produced in the gut.
Do we often talk about that? I didn't know.
I do.
You do. Yeah,
that.
I was going to say.
So thank you.
Yeah.
So you and I maybe need to talk about it more.
Yeah, there you
but
go.
Vitamin K is produced in the gut by our microflora, our bacteria, and it helps with the proper smooth flow of our nutritive fluids, i.e. our blood, ultimately. So tallow can contribute, you could say, to the proper level of vitamins and nutrients in your body. If you're applying poor quality oils to your skin or ingesting poor quality oils, it's very likely they're going to rob your body or even not allow your body to have the appropriate amount of nutrients and vitamins because they're depleted in nutrients. So if you put a substance in your body that's depleted of nutrients and vitamins because of the processing, it's gone through a chemical processing, and now you're putting that in your body or on your body, it's going to leach out from your body the nutrients, the chemical, or the nutrients and the minerals that are needed. And one of the reasons it does that is because in its natural state, it was bound to vitamins, minerals. Okay, so before this oil was extracted from the seed or went through a chemical process where it used hexane and a variety of different chemical solvents to try to separate it from everything else, it was bound to certain things that were actually beneficial for our body. So it wants to be bound to those things again. So then when you apply it to your body, it's going to steal it from you. So in some instances, you could say these poor quality oils that we choose to use either through ingestion or topical application are going to rob us of those things that we need. And then we're in a state of perpetual disease.
All right, let's get to that then. Did we miss any of the good oils though, in terms of, we talked about tallow, ozonated olive oil.
Castor oil is a really good oil. It's not necessarily like an ingesting oil.
Okay.
I mean, you can ingest it. It's actually FDA approved.
Okay.
As to help.
What does that mean anymore?
I don't know,
but
it is.
I'm just being facetious. Yeah.
I guess what it means is that some people think that it has value in those circles. So you can ingest it and it will help clear. It works like a laxative.
Got it.
So if you have constipation, you can take small amounts of it and it will help move the stools. They also use it in maternity circles where mothers are wanting to initiate labor or to begin the process of labor, and they'll use it as a means of labor induction or to support the process of labor induction.
And castor oil has what? It's
called rinoleic acid.
Okay.
And it probably makes up, I think, 90% of castor oil, but it's actually really cool because it's antimicrobial and it's anti-inflammatory. So castor oil is something we use a lot, actually, in chiropractic, because you can apply castor oil to, say, the spine, like a castor oil pack. You may have heard of utilizing a castor oil pack topically. You can apply it to the spine if you have a hot disc or if it's super inflamed and you have it pushing on the nerve, or the inflammation and swelling itself is the large portion of the pain that's causing swelling and impacting the nerve. Then what you can do is apply that castor oil pack and it will seep through and into your body, and it will help to hydrate and then cause an anti-inflammatory effect to reduce the inflammation there.
That's cool. Yeah, because I know it anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial properties. I've just never used castor oil.
So on that note as well, I had a patient just recently. He's in a wheelchair. He came in recently and we treated him. And I've been saying to a number of patients recently, maybe some of you will have heard me say this, but I do believe that sometimes when we have back pain or if we have disc related pains, that we actually have an infection in that area. It's like a local infection. It's causing a lot of pain and inflammation. And if we can actually neutralize that infection, we can get the pain to go away and we can reduce the impact on that local area as well. And so this patient, came in and then he explained to me ultimately how he had a surgery and then he had developed MRSA, and the MRSA went to his spine. And then he ended up quadriplegic as a result of it. And so you look at some of these conditions and you think, wow, that's pretty significant. But we can use antimicrobials. If we can get antimicrobials in there as often as possible and have anti-inflammatories in and near the spine and throughout the body systemically, then we can reduce the likelihood that we're going to be developing some of these infectious agents or infections in other areas of the body.
Coconut oil, avocado oil, olive oil, like all these seem like good oils to ingest.
Coconut oil is a great oil to ingest. It's got a lot of MCTs. MCTs largely come from coconut oil, if you've heard of medium chain triglycerides. We often talk about with patients whether or not medium chain triglycerides are going to increase your triglycerides, right, on your lipid panel. And actually what we're starting to see is that taking medium chain triglycerides from quality sources can actually have a lowering impact. It can lower your triglycerides, which is really impressive. But it's because of the quality of the triglyceride. If you use a poorly sourced, poor quality triglyceride product or oil, then obviously it's going to make those triglycerides go up. Avocado oil is fantastic, and coconut oil also, as far as cooking or baking, you can cook these at higher temperatures, but avocado oil probably has one of the highest temperatures that you can cook at. So for instance, we talked about tallow as being used in restaurants. It has I think its temperature that it goes to is maybe like 400 or maybe it's 475, something like that. So coconut oil goes right around there as well. It's around 400. And then avocado oil goes up to 520, right? So the temperature at which you can actually take before its compounds itself starts to degrade and oxidize ultimately. If you're consuming a oil and it's oxidizing, that's going to cause significant damage to your epithelial tissue, which is essentially your cardiovascular tissue. Okay. And so we need to be able to have these in their natural state as much as possible. But avocado oil will remain intact, and it will hold its integrity at much higher heat. So yeah, use avocado oil or coconut oil for your cooking. I think tallow oil is actually a good switch if that's something that you want to do. But remember, for any vegetarian or vegan patient, it comes from fat. It's a fat source. Not fat, sorry, it comes from animals. It's an animal source. So some vegan patients may not want to use that. But that's why you could use avocado oil or coconut oil or olive oil.
Olive oil is okay? You left that one to the end for cooking.
Yeah. So olive oil is okay, but it does have a lower smoke point, essentially like a burn, where it becomes oxidation. Once it oxidizes, it starts to smoke, right? And so if it reaches that point sooner, then it'll cause more problems for us. And we can't get the food that we're trying to warm up or heat, we can't get it to the temperature that we want as quickly as we want. So if you're going to use olive oil, you just have to make sure you use it on more medium or moderate temperatures.
So I use it for steak, and I do notice it'll smoke. So what would you use for steak?
So for steak, I would use tallow.
Okay.
Or one of my other favorite ones is ghee.
Got it.
So ghee also has a really high, it's like ghee is really similar to coconut oil, and it's probably between coconut oil and olive oil as far as its burn point, its temperature, right? So it can take a lot of heat, but ghee also has butyric acid. So you can apply ghee topically. It's very good for your skin. You can also consume ghee because it has that butyric acid. It's going to help nourish the cells of your intestines. So you could apply a little bit of ghee to your abdomen, apply it topically and let it move through. But we consume butter in larger amounts, I think, in this country, that you might as well do ghee. Now, ghee is essentially clarified butter. So you take butter and you simmer it for a little while and you get rid of the milk solids, the extra water, and some of the other debris, and you have ghee. It's a really, really great product, a great oil to use. Has kind of a nutty flavor in it. But yeah, it can be used to help actually if you have gastritis, if you have IBS, irritable bowel disease, even if you have gut permeability issues or what we commonly call leaky gut, right? Butyric acid from butter in the form of ghee could be delivered to the body through ingestion of it or topical application.
So there's all kinds of options then for skincare. What would you use for just, hey, my skin's getting real dry in the wintertime? What's your go-to?
My go-to is ozonated olive oil. I love ozonated olive oil for topical application for skin. I love it for healing wounds as well, and sunburns. So if we have a wound or if I have an area, I won't necessarily apply it immediately once it's there. I'll clean it and then cover it. And once it starts to maybe scab over, a little fibrin gets in there, then I'll start applying the ozonated olive oil. One of the reasons for that too is just to help with the tissue recovery so that I don't end up with a scar.
Yeah, I think it's phenomenal. Why do you think tallow got so popular? Why isn't everybody talking about ozonated olive oil yet?
Oh, I really think, they should start talking about
I'm serious.
olive oil.
That's why I'm trying to
again, part of the tallow is the ingestion, and olive oil you can ingest. You can ingest ozonated olive oil, but ozone, remember, it's somewhat invasive or pervasive, you could say. The 3 oxygen molecules bound together will actually unravel viruses. They'll break down bacterial cell walls. It's designed essentially to initiate an oxidative reaction in the body. It's designed to do that because what it does is it stimulates the production within the body of glutathione, which is the master antioxidant. So as it does that, then we have a surge of anti-inflammatory chemicals that the body produces itself that come through to clean things up and essentially help you to feel better and reduce the inflammatory product that was being created. So ozone itself, you can ingest, but I would do that if you're doing it ozonated olive oil. I would do it in very small amounts. I like to do it internally more in a way of like oil pulling. So I have a substance that we made, or a formula we made. We mixed clove, a little bit of peppermint with ozonated olive oil, and then we do oil pulling with it, like a mouth rinse or a mouth wash, you could say. But we swish for several minutes to help remove the toxins and the debris and everything from our mouth, teeth, and gums. So tallow, I think tallow is super popular right now, I would say, because RFK Jr. has brought it back on the scene by congratulating a number. It was Steak and Shake, I think is what it is. He congratulated them ultimately for switching because of him saying, hey, all these seed oils are horrible. They're not good for you. They're causing cardiovascular damage and chronic disease and illness and moving forward, which is what they are doing to our whole country. And Steak and Shake said, okay, we'll switch to tallow. And why not? They figured out a source ultimately that was affordable, that they could maybe not necessarily influence their bottom line too much, and a much healthier option for us is tallow. And so I think that brought it on everybody's minds. And then they said, whoa, what is up with tallow? What?
Yeah.
And, we've been using it for years. We've been making it for thousands of years. It's probably that and ghee and, ghee, the butter and tallow. Those are things we've been using for a long, and olive oil, right? You look at cultures, they all just have kind of their own things that some cultures it may have been easier for them to process tallow. Some cultures it may have been easier for them to process butter, from cows just because of their culture. Other cultures, it's like, well, we got all these olives around, let's get the oil out of it. And so, they were using oil for lamps. They're using oil for their, moisturizer. They're using oil for their hair care. They're using oil for everything. It's like, if you want to improve your hair, your eyelashes, if you want to improve the quality and the luster and the shine of that, apply some tallow or use some castor oil is actually really good for that as well. And you look at castor oil with the ricinoleic acid in it, and it's very thick. Castor oil is a very, very thick product, and you apply it, and it gives it almost like a shine or a glow. And I see so many people put these products that are made up of all these horrible fats, right, and all of these chemicals, and they'll put all sorts of products in their hair and on their body and the skin, and then they'll look at the castor oil and they're like, ew, I don't want to put that. I'm like, are you kidding me? Look at what you're putting on your body and essentially what you're getting internally. So why not take a little bit of castor oil? If you want to put, some essential oils in there, some clove or some peppermint or lime, and you want to try to help it smell better, right? Use that instead of like, okay, I'm going to apply this chemical formula onto my body because at least I don't smell bad, right? That's one of the other things I do like about ozonated olive oil is it is a deodorant. So I've been using it for the past 3 years. I've used ozonated olive oil as my deodorant.
And you're not smelly. I'm sitting next to you and I don't smell anything.
Oh yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, I'm far enough away.
I've done enough like testing where it's like I don't know enough about armpits, and I'm like, it's so wild that you put all these deodorants on your armpits and then all of a sudden the armpit feels different and it's like not as smelly. But I'm like, isn't this has got to be some kind of natural pore for me to like detox out of, and then when I block it, that feels wrong to me. So I've tried the ozonated olive oil. I feel like I'm still stinky. Maybe I need to work on whatever's going on inside of my body to deal with that. But there's like this pressure of I don't want to smell bad in the world. Whether the people buy into our beliefs on health or not, they're going to smell me and I don't want them to smell me. So it's a dance. I haven't fully landed where I feel totally settled on my deodorant of choice. But the fact that you don't smell and you've been using it for years, maybe I need to give ozonated olive oil another chance.
You probably do, and maybe we need to do a little coaching there. And
there you
make
go.
Sure you're actually the underarm, right? Is the,
yeah.
I'm just teasing, but I think some coaching. Yeah,
put it on the shoulder. Why isn't? Hey, speaking of coaching, how can because we want to do another podcast where we talk about some of these negative oils and why they're impactful. If they want a consultation with you, if they want coaching, they might be local to Utah, they might not be. How can they reach out to your office?
Well, it's easy to call us, or you can even text us. You can text right into our number and communicate with my wonderful staff. They're fantastic. They communicate really well. They get back and return people's calls very quickly. And I think they're super efficient. I think we have an excellent staff here.
I would agree.
So you can text us or call us. It's 435-657-3696.
And mention you heard this on the podcast.
Yeah, mention this on the podcast, that for sure. And then they'll be like, oh man, that'll be a buzz in the office for the day.
Wouldn't that be cool if someone actually like called you from, I'm sure it's happened. You do, the ozonated oil you offer, it's great, and you can get it here in the office. What do you recommend I do if I hear this podcast but I'm not local? What's an actionable step I can take to incorporate one of these oils into my life?
Well, you can text us and order the oil, and we can send it to you if you want the one that's topical for skin and beauty, or if you want the one that you can use orally, we can send those to you. If you have a place locally that you know of that you can go to and get some ozonated olive oil, you can do that. But as far as getting extra virgin cold pressed olive oil, you could get that anywhere from, in any state in the nation. Tallow, you can go pick up at any health food store. You can get coconut oil basically almost at any store now. It used to be that you couldn't find coconut oil at certain stores, but now it seems like it's, at least here, at least in the area that I'm around, we can get coconut oil at almost any store. Ghee you can find in so many places. Avocado oil, just know that avocado oil is going to be a little bit more expensive.
Yeah.
It is made really from the fruit of the avocado. It's not from the seed itself. It's actually from the fruit they call the pulp, actually. And you get a lot of really high quality fat from the avocado. So there's all sorts. Did I mention all of them? I think that's all. Castor oil, you can get it at health food store. All of those
castor oil is something I could use in my hair.
You can use it on your hair.
It's maybe good for hair growth, or what?
It's good for quality of hair.
Okay.
Yep. So it will help with if you're feeling like, oh man, my hair's just not thick or full, and I'm losing, and it seems really thin and brittle. You start applying a little bit of castor oil to it, and it will really help. Now, it's interesting because we've had this pattern of what clean hair means, and this is maybe diverging from where we meant to go, but we have to be careful with always applying these chemical products to our body and to our hair and to all the surfaces of our body, and even ingesting them. We have to be careful with these things all the time. So make sure, look at the label, make sure that you understand what it is that is on that ingredients list. And if you don't recognize what those ingredients are, you should really be questioning whether or not you should apply it to your body or ingest it. So whether that's applying topically to your hair, whether that's hairspray, whether it's an oil or any product of any sort, you should always look at the ingredients and make sure that you're not applying too many unknown chemicals to yourself, to your body.
I would agree, and I hope folks who made it this far would agree as well. Trying to give you some natural solutions to be well now.
Amen. That was good. That was good, Nick. You did
that good?
Yeah, tying that all together.
You did well
nice.
as well.
I did. Did I do well? Can I be well?
I think it's all happening. I don't know. Yeah. Namaste, everyone.
Namaste, everyone. Have a great day.
Be well now.